Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna call the Monday, March 27th Selectmen's meeting to order. Our first order of business is to salute the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've got a little housekeeping to do, so just for... Well, you're just gonna have to wait.
Right, I'll sit over here.
Okay. First order of business, this is the first meeting after the
Town meeting?
town meeting, thank you, and the election. So our first order of business is to elect a chairman.
Who wants to be chairman?
Well, traditionally, it would go to Mr. Pike.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have to make a motion and then talk about it, or you wanna talk about it before we make the motion?
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
I think we should wait until Selectmen's updates to do that, simply because it keeps things rolling a little better and the transition would be milder. And then at the next meeting, I would be the full chairman.
Okay, so you wanna vote at the end of this meeting?
Yes.
All right.
And during Selectmen's update, we can do all, if we're gonna reshuffle committees or anything like that, we can do it then. I'm not anticipating much, but
All right, okay, so moving on, the, what the hell is this?
minutes.
Approval of the minutes, Monday, March 26th, the regular minutes,
March 6th.
March 6th.
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
I have no complaints at all with that, I second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
The non-public from March 6th,
I'd move to accept those as written.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
And I'm gonna move that we keep these sealed,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
The regular meeting for March 14th,
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, Sue Weeks. Our first appointment is with Sue Weeks. About Town Roads and Ag Commission, not about cemeteries?
No.
Oh,
Well, if you want to talk about it, we can. Town roads is just a thing I've been slowed down on my research work that I do. So I've been trying to declutter, scanning all my papers and stuff. And I have a lot of research about town roads that I've uncovered that frankly I forgot I even had done. But, you know, for example, Piper Road, we had a big discussion of whether it was a town road or not.
Mhm.
And I did research that and determined that it is a town road. It's off Line Pond Road. Same with,
But it's a pretty short amount of town road, as I remember it.
well, it goes into an old cellar hole.
Okay.
So it's as long as it goes straight and then it curves to the cellar hole. So it's longer than you think.
And that was why they couldn't put a locked gate
Right.
on it. Yeah,
Right.
that was our discussion about that one, yeah.
Right. So,
The one's about halfway down on this side of the road.
yes, yes. So, I'm scanning all that stuff, but I'm gonna bring in the paper and put it in the town roads drawer.
Okay.
There's a drawer out here with a file folder for every road with whatever information we have about that road. And there's also in there, a chart that we put together in 2009 with John Sims volunteered and organized it, and I worked with him, and we put the thing together to identify all the roads and their classifications and their length and where they start and where they end. It's pretty comprehensive, and I don't know if anybody even knows that it's there. When
I'm
these
just finding
questions,
out. I don't know.
when these questions come up, but there's a file drawer out there with town roads and that sort of thing is in there,
And also whether they're designated a scenic road or not.
should be,
And whether it's a
class 5 or class 6.
easement or a fee simple, there's a difference.
I don't think we got into that.
Okay, because there's an issue on North Line Road, and I was told by a quasi-expert that it was an easement road and not I'm thinking it's probably one of the oldest roads in town.
Yeah.
It's right there, it's that long diagonal
Right,
line there
right.
that's parallel to the Ossipee line.
Went out to Brighton.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
North Line Road until it hits one to the third horizontal one, which is at, Federal Corner Road. And Ledge Hill Road.
Ledge Hill Road.
It takes a turn, but, yeah, a lot of our roads are those lines on that map that were divisions. And they were set aside to be
And that's what
3
made me
rods or 4 rods.
think that it was owned by the town and not a right-of-way of the town. That road and
Well,
Ledge Hill, for instance,
okay,
were.
who owns those
Mhm.
is an unresolved question, statewide. Who owns the rangeways? But who has the right to use them and maintain them? There's case laws
Mhm.
that resolve that in favor of the town and the public.
But there's certain things that we can do on a right-of-way or can't do on a right-of-way road that are different. And that was the question that we
Yeah,
had to answer.
probably, right, case by case and lawsuit by lawsuit.
Yeah, but I think it would be on our shoulders to prove that it was owned by the town as opposed to just a right-of-way. So,
Well, they were reserved strips that the proprietors saved for themselves for the benefit of the public, for the road systems. The proprietors never deeded them, so that's where the problem comes in.
well, no, that's not a problem. If they never deeded it, then the town owns it.
Oh,
You know, we're not abandoning some road and trying to figure out what to do with the road bed. It's the use of that roadway and what can be done on it and what can't be done on it. There's certain limitations to what we can
right,
enforce on a right-of-way.
right, but still, it's case law that
Right.
goes around different areas, and a little bit different twist on things.
Yeah, we're not the only town with rangeways, so I don't
The
know.
whole state,
Yeah,
and nobody wants to know about it. I was on a committee of volunteers trying to get some legislation that would give towns the right to discontinue them or open them up if they've never been opened. And that went nowhere. We could
Yeah.
not get the legislature to, enough people interested to even do a presentation.
I've got a lot to learn about roads.
Well, if you look on there, look on Tuftonboro Neck, see those double parallel lines going right across? Those are public access points on the lake.
right. And then
But if you drive down there,
at least one of them is still open.
2 of them are open, and the last one's next to the Marriott, you know, the tip of the,
By where Roger Cray used to live.
yes,
Yeah.
straight to the lake, and the other, both ways. You
Yeah.
can do it, and then there's one that goes down perpendicular from that to the lake, right by the Hurlburt farm, between Hurlburt and Marriott.
Yeah, we've been down there.
But, what's the other road?
Eaglemere?
Eaglemere,
Yeah.
and,
North and south.
yeah, should go all the way to the lake, and the same with Winter Harbor Way. And they don't. There's never been any transfer of title, just people using it for their own.
Adverse taking.
Yes.
Nice.
All right, well, that's
So
good.
that's why we never got anywhere with the legislation, because there's too many lawsuits out there
Yeah,
if you really start looking at it. So just let sleeping dogs lie. That's what people do. Anyway, we have a big file of roads and road information and spreadsheet of roads that maybe somebody should take a look at it to see if it's been kept up to date.
all of added roads or changed classification.
Subdivision roads,
Yeah.
new subdivision roads, like, you know, the
Frying Pond is one.
yeah,
Zadida,
yeah, Ridgefield,
soon to be Ridgefield. We haven't
Yeah.
taken Ridgefield over.
huh?
We haven't taken over the
No,
Ridgefield.
no, but they should be identified as roads get approved by
Mhm.
by the planning board. As the planning board approves a subdivision road, it should go on that list with its status
Mhm.
and whether it's intended to be a town road or not.
Yeah, and I haven't heard from the planning board on that Ridgefield Road, for instance. I don't know if they're gonna look for us to take it over
If
or not.
the way it sits right now, if a developer comes in and builds the roads to town standards at the direction of the planning board, then the town is obligated to take it over.
Yeah, as long as it's done to town specs.
And I believe that that's the direction that's going.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's just, you got multi-million-dollar properties and those
Yeah.
people may feel like they wanna live in a gated community. So even though it's built to town specifications.
They may not, they may have their own,
Yeah, they may decide not to do
And the
that.
roadbed is being inspected by our engineer, being paid for by the developer.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah. So that's what I have to say about roads. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was the Agriculture Commission, that everybody resigned. I don't know what happened, can only guess. I've only talked with one or two of the people on the commission, haven't gone poking. But I think it's something we should have, is an active commission. I think obviously the community garden is, the centerpiece,
Mhm.
I guess. I think the townspeople like that garden. They like going by and seeing what's going on there and the whole idea of it, whether they participate in it or not. And what I've heard is that the difficulty in deciding who gets a plot and who doesn't was probably what tipped the scales to
Well,
resignation.
there were a few other obstacles there. I mean, one was this notion of no-till
The
gardening.
no-till, right.
Another was, the pesticides, herbicides, that sort of thing.
Yeah, arguing about that sort of stuff, and then we had Bill Williams for years and Bill Stockman who
Mhm.
did the plowing and the
Right.
fertilizing and all of that at basically no charge for years, and that's gone. So I think that triggered the no-till.
Right.
But there's got to be a way to work it out, and at least there's a lot of people who still want to have a garden plot there.
Yeah, and I think that will continue. I don't see that that's ending. I just think the Ag Commission sort of imploded
Right.
for whatever political reasons.
Yeah, and that I don't
Yeah.
have any insight to.
And we haven't really even entered into a conversation about whether or not to reestablish the Ag Commission. But,
Well, I
That's
think
what
the
I'm here for.
The
I
commission
think you should-
itself still exists, it's just nobody on it.
Just says no members.
Right?
yeah, I guess that's right.
Right, you don't have to start over with
We don't have to establish a commission, but we need to have.
Or
You
you
need
staff
to-
it.
you need to have members, and I haven't found any requirement for how many members you need. And I don't know, how many were there before, 7?
Yeah, at least, I think.
Maybe just too
Yeah,
many.
counting me,
You
because
were-
I was the representative. I still am the representative. for that
I
matter.
think that's a lot of members to have them come to an agreement, but,
Five, a couple of
five would
alternates.
probably.
But we have been assured by the tax collector that going forward, most of the plots have been paid for already, and the people that bought them think that they can manage this by themselves.
Well, maybe they can.
Well, it's only one way to find out, as far as I know. However, the Ag Commission, the mission of an agricultural commission is actually far beyond a community garden. And there was a gal came in that had money, grant money that might be available to the different people that are actually engaged in farming in the town, which isn't too many. When they were approached by the Agricultural Commission, they were curtly dismissed as to mind their own business. And so that didn't work out very well. But there's possibilities, and this girl said we can do it. We can give people money that are growing a garden in their backyard. It doesn't have to be true, and just didn't work out at all.
I've been looking through the state statutes about it, and they're quite lengthy. My God, it's ridiculous how many pages of
Oh yeah, RSA.
sections there are. Standards for farm products, livestock and meat inspection, poultry and poultry products. These are each, like a section. Beekeeping, maple and honey products, soil conditioners, insect pests and plant diseases, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just keeps going. It's a huge amount of stuff that can be involved. And I believe the intent at the state level was that agriculture commissions could be an advisory board to assist farmers and the local community with promoting agricultural things and local products, et cetera, et cetera. Not the community garden is the kind of the centerpiece, but it's not necessarily the most important piece
Right.
of what an agricultural commission can do. So I would suggest that it'd be good to get it going again, and maybe 5 instead of 7. 7's a lot of people.
Well, are you requesting to be appointed to the
I would-
Agricultural Commission?
I would willingly serve on the agricultural commission, yes.
So we have to have an official paper and sign that and everything for that, right? When we appoint
Yeah,
someone.
we have to appoint her.
Yeah.
So that would
So moved.
happen next week.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're gonna appoint you
So
as.
now you've got 2, you've got me and you.
Right.
Oh.
And it'll be your job to gather 4 more members.
We'll try to.
If you feel that 5 is the optimum number. So,
Right, I haven't talked to any of the former members. Maybe some of those who would be willing.
I wouldn't doubt it. I think if you expanded their role away from the town garden as the primary function
Mm-hmm.
into more agriculturally, focused
Right,
work.
right.
I think you would get some good input. I mean, there's a lot of agriculture that's going on,
Right,
whether it's family gardens or.
right. It's local
There's
grassroots,
livestock.
but it's not.
Like tree farms and agricultural endeavor, for example.
Reach out to Wendy Scribner. Do you know Wendy?
No, I don't.
Wendy Scribner. She's UNH Cooperative Extension.
Yeah.
She'd be a
They
great
haven't moved
resource.
them to the county.
Not yet,
have they?
no.
20 years later.
She'd be a great resource. I can get you her contact information.
That would be great. Use that for
And she
cooperative
probably
extension.
knows
Yeah.
ag commissions in other towns
Oh, she must.
and what's
Yeah.
effective and what isn't effective,
We're
what works,
supposed
what
to,
doesn't.
it's right, I just saw something in this about working together. So, yeah.
Well, the cooperative extension's more of a resource than people think. It's,
Right, and the Ag Commission should be also for.
right, right.
You know who else you can talk to is Ed Person.
Yeah, if I could find him.
He's usually at the farm.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, because I know Roger was involved with it with UNH a lot in trying experimental stuff and
Oh,
growing.
yeah. Oh,
crops
I
and
know,
all.
Ed's very serious about it.
Yeah, so that's another one. It might help. I don't know.
I usually see, his sister.
Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen.
Yeah, and if there's, I mean, I don't, Guy mentioned grants out there. I'm sure there are agricultural grants available for different things. And I don't know why we don't have bees out here or something like that. I mean, this,
Well, they do have what we're calling a pollinator garden, so to speak, planting heavily pollen-laden plants, and the bees can come, and obviously they go around and
right,
hit everything. And they were talking about with us as cemetery trustees is putting something over on the corner of the cemetery, but they wanted us to do it, basically. So
They wanna know if we had any land
Yeah.
that we could,
if you give
well,
that,
somebody involved,
Yeah.
approached us. And did we have any cemetery land where we could do that? And we actually do.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be great if you had the whole side of the
They
cemetery?
could just buy a plot,
flowers?
right?
no. All right.
All right,
Just
well,
kidding.
Thank
Good.
you.
And thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. Thanks.
You're welcome.
okay, next up is fire.
I'd like to speak to this before the chief gets going, if I might.
Fire?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been reported to me that at the Ossipee Valley Mutual Aid Association meeting the other night at our firehouse, there were multiple people from state organizations there. And they were very impressed with our fire department and our fire building, and I want to give the chief an attaboy for that one because it's your baby.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You also got a thank you letter that's in this file from the Loon Preservation Center.
Yeah.
I don't know if they gave you a copy.
We haven't seen a copy of it.
I can send you one. Bye, Sue.
Thank you.
In fact, they called this afternoon to make sure that it was going to be at the meeting today. They noticed that we were having a selectmen's meeting.
It not only was a good training to go out and do that, obviously it helped them and made sure people stayed safe with that, instead of one person going out alone, you know, to try to handle that situation as well as it goes. It worked out well with us. So. A couple different things on the back of this paper. You had requested, Mr. Albee, as far as mutual aid, given, mutual aid received. There's a breakdown of that.
Thank you.
On that. So we had a total of 123 calls for this month, 41 fire, 60 EMS calls, 22 service calls, no special details. Gas furnace inspections 9, oil burner inspections 1, wood pellet stove inspections 2, life safety 3, for a total of 15. And as you can see, 2022 we're down, I think it's about 18 calls. We had 2 more since I did this paperwork as far as it goes. But, and that all depends. You can see that we're up in fire calls, and we're down with 10 in EMS and about 14 as far as service calls, as far as it goes. But again, as I said, you never know. Tonight we could have 6 calls and go from there.
Hot air balloon down this morning?
Yes.
Was that a Chinese hot air balloon?
That would be it. It was an air balloon that they traveled from Vermont. Obviously,
Did they mean to?
yes. They lost too much altitude and they landed at 134 Middle Road, the Lachute front lawn. They were packing it up. It was almost in the back of the pickup truck when we arrived. So they've obviously done this before. So.
That's your experience.
No one get hurt.
That's pretty pinpoint landing.
Yes, it's not a big backyard.
No, it isn't.
And they put it right down in there. But the most that people saw it was coming across Pier 19. This is the picture of it as it was coming across Pier 19, and that's where it ended.
We have everything in Tuftsboro.
You know,
Amazing.
I did get a text message while I was sitting at my desk. What's up with the balloon
There you go.
on Middle Road? And I'm like, what?
Wait till I put that musk out on my end of my driveway.
so the larger calls that we had been on, 228, 23, multiple motor vehicle accidents in Moultonville, Whittier Highway, Fox Hollow Road. That's a notorious area. We ended up sending the ambulance up, and because they were cut off from being able to go to Lakes Region due to wires and stuff down.
That was that tractor trailer and car.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we ended up, they ended up being able to transport, and we ended up station coverage for a short period of time until they got things situated around that. 3/3/23, we had a propane truck leak in the area of 16 Millstone Point. The piping on a propane truck cracked, and we ended up securing that truck, and until the leak had subsided. And then the truck was moved by the state police and their highway enforcement unit back to the yard in Wolfboro to secure it there to take care of that. It was fortunately in an area where we had hoses off. If we needed to, we could control whatever gas from going to different areas, but the best thing was that it was off at the end of the Millstone Point. The driver was very good about backing it down and putting it in a good area.
Do you have liquid leaking out of it?
Yes.
Do you ever wrap it with a wet towel?
Yes. We did that initially, and the problem was that we then needed it to leak out. We needed it to go faster, so we had to unwrap it. And once their technicians got there, there was one valve that further needed to be shut off to make sure the process got going a little bit quicker. And once the piping was empty, then that truck was secure to be able to take over the road. But yes, that was all part of the process. First alarm structure fire, 280 Route 16B. We ended up station coverage. NVA rollover, Governor Wentworth Highway and Johnson Road. Ended up with no injuries. CO alarm at 46 Dame Road. There was actually CO in the building. It was during one of the snowstorms. They have an issue with a generator that even though that it's set correctly, the CO builds up in like a corner of the house, and then it ends up going downstairs. So they're gonna have to pipe the exhaust off in a different direction with that. So chimney fire, 47 Mountain Road, and the fire was basically held to the chimney in that case. However, there was creosote that was coming out of the cracks into the attic space with that. And basically the chimney was condemned for that one. And obviously the hot air balloon, which was for that. We hosted a ice rescue technicians class on the 23rd. Was the actual. The 23rd was actually the classroom, and the practical was held on the 25th, which was on the wharf in 19 Mile Bay. There was 14 students, 4 of which were members of our department, and 3 of our members of our department took part in instructing the class. They're state instructors. The new car 1, which was approved at town meeting, is in the process of being ordered. The vehicle itself, we're hoping to see that in mid-April, as far as the truck. And then from there...
So we need to have that brought forward to us before you order it, so we can look at the bids you've gotten in.
Yeah, we had 3 bids again. They were $53,007. They were 56,000 and change, and 60,000 and change. And I can bring those in so that that you can see
Yeah,
them.
just so we can go through the steps.
Is this something that's gonna come off of a lot, or you have to order it from the factory?
It actually is being built currently, as far as it goes, as far as the truck, and we'll claim it if if it is approved as far as with the selectmen where that goes. But it's one of those things that the vehicle, it's something that they sell every day, as far as, because it's going to be a short bed, 4-door, a
And
red
it's all the
truck.
added equipment that makes it a fire truck.
Yeah, everything that we add to it from there, the cap, thermal imager, lights,
All
and
aftermarket.
all of that stuff is aftermarket. Yeah. The radio, and that was a picture of
And
the class.
one last thing on the vehicle,
Yes.
what are we doing with when you're driving now? Is it planned to put it on eBay or whatever it is you guys?
That would be up to you.
Yeah, I would think that Craigslist auction would be the best thing for it,
Whatever.
just like we did with the
You said that we
cruiser.
could
Right.
cheap it. No, with the, obviously, once we get the other one
Okay.
built, then,
So are the dealers that you're talking to who sent a bid in interested in it as a trade?
we never asked that.
So you should ask that, just to see what their number is.
Okay.
And then we'll
Yep.
work out.
Yeah, I think we could do a lot better selling it ourselves.
You always can, but you never know.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing for example, that big hazmat truck that you see down there,
Yeah.
it has 3,000 miles on it. It's a 2008. It was purchased with grant funding. The truck is too big, no one wants to house it as far as it goes, so.
So why do we have it?
Well, why we have it is the chairman of mutual aid, and
You know,
It's-
parking lot.
it's being broke down, the stuff is being put in a trailer, and the truck is gonna be sold as far as it goes. It would make a good truck as far as, to bring stuff up onto the back, as far as, once you take the back off, you could put containers on it. But no, it has 3,000 miles on it. You would think that it'd be worth, all kinds of money. Well, apparently that particular truck, when it was built, it was in the era of, between diff fluids and regenning, and had issues with the
So
engine.
it's first generation.
Yes, so everyone knows about that. So right now, the highest, DePrecios came up and looked at it, and they offered like $8,000 for a truck like that, and I'm like, wow. But everyone that comes in and looks at it, oh yeah, that's got that engine that's, that
Box can celebrate.
has issues.
Well, I'll give them the ad. I've sold quite a few vehicles in the county. I've got an ad that I'm happy to share with you, and
That would be great.
then you can transpose it to.
We need to get the 3 highest,
So yeah.
whatever, show that we've done it, and go from there. And then that white elephant goes away, type of thing.
They're standing on the ice.
We put a radio cabinet in at the 189 Middle Road site at the cell tower behind us, which is this. That's our ongoing radio upgrades through the mutual aid.
Is that connected to the on-site generator?
That it is, I'm trying to get them to do that, but the issue that we have is that they don't like to have liability of other people's equipment on
Right.
site as far as attaching it to their on-site generator. If it can be, then we sure will as far as it goes. A couple hang-ups with that particular thing right now is that when they put in the electrical and stuff like that, I believe that the meter socket that they have there, they usually put multiple ones in, and it has a single socket right now to get their stuff up and running. I don't know how long it's gonna be before the other stuff is available. It's my understanding that that particular unit and all the equipment that's gonna come out of our station and go into it can be run with a 2,000 watt generator, which we carry with us on our rescue truck, so, which is good, because I wouldn't wanna move like a 5,000 watt
Right.
generator.
So what's the purpose of that cabinet?
This cabinet will contain the radio equipment for the repeater radio stuff that we have in our attic at the fire station. So basically, Tufton Borough has an E-line that comes into the station that is attached to a repeater that runs off our antennas on our roof.
It's all tied
And,
into
and it's all tied into Carroll County. That E-line goes back to Carroll County.
So you need a generator on that,
Right.
preferably an automatic one.
Yeah, in most cases. The good thing is it'll have battery backup that will last for I think
A couple hours.
they said like 2 days,
Yeah.
depending on how much it's used, as far as it goes. Our radio system is used quite a bit now, as far as the repeater system. So we'll look at that, but I still don't want to give up on trying to let them
Right.
hook up as far as that goes.
So you have power to it.
We'll have power to it. That all has to be situated.
Which means they're gonna have to bring in a second meter, because
Yes.
they're not gonna pay for the electricity for that.
No, I would not think so. And the mutual aid will pay for the power that's obviously is going into that.
Do you think there are any grants that you can use to apply for a generator?
There may be something through the state. You know, obviously after talking with the people that had come up at our meeting on that Monday, they were going to go over it with us further as far as the radio communications and try to get us hooked up with the right people as far as different things as far as our radio system. So which I'm hoping that we can get that. Again, not a I think that we've been out without power like 3 times at the station, as far as like towards the end of last year into this year, as far as with the big storms. But most of the time there's, we're in a pretty good area that it does stay going. But I'll work on that, trying to get it further. Obviously it's up on a 135-foot tower versus the fire station, so it's going to bring our radio communications for town up much better as far as it goes. So we'll continue with that. And obviously, yes, we met with Commissioner Robert Quinn, and we received reports from the Division of Safety, Fire Marshal Sean Toomey, the Director of Fire Standards and Training and EMS, Justin Cutton, Homeland Security Emergency Management Director Mark Doyle, in New Hampshire Association of Fire Chiefs President Larry Best, and Executive Director Brent Lemire. We got to discuss a whole bunch of things that were going on, not only as far as county-wise, but as far as town-wise that we might be facing. And it is the first time in 36 years, as far as my career, that I've actually seen state officials come up and sit down with us, which is a good sign. They did listen to what we had to say, and we'll see what happens from there. As far as emergency management wise, I'm working with the road agent Jim Bean to see how much damage the town has due to the severe storm and flooding that occurred on December 22nd through the 25th of 2022. On March 15th, 2023, President Joe Biden had declared a disaster for Belknap, Carroll County, Cowas, and Grafton counties. The initial assessment was about $50,000 when I talked to Jim as far as damage for roads, but he believes it'll be much higher once the snow is cleared out towards Ledge Hill and things like that, so we can see that. And that'll be probably the same as, I think it was it Sandy that came through? We had to go down through and provide all of the hours and all of that different stuff. It took quite a while, but in the long run, I guess it was worth it, as far as especially, $50,000 and above. We didn't even come close to that figures with that storm, so. But we'll try to get what money we can in from that.
Sure. Get some of our taxes back, if nothing else.
And I had asked the chief to put together a list so we can answer questions authoritatively about what sort of mutual aid is given and what sort of mutual aid is received. So, thank you for that.
No problem.
Maybe we can do that.
And you said maybe quarterly as far as that
That
goes?
would be great.
Which we can. And as far as mutual aid wise, obviously, overall, we try to handle just about anything that we can. Having the 3 engines set up the way that we have them, as long as we have the personnel to operate them, we also try to cover our own town as far as that goes. Because we have our 3 trucks set up so that hopefully they can handle whatever they need to in the beginning of whatever incident that is going on, as far as if it's a fire call or something like that. Not all towns are set up that way. Every town is different. But we don't have a ladder truck. We don't have some of the specialty stuff that some other places might have in some cases. Or always have all the personnel that you might need. And some people don't take that into account. There was some stuff on Facebook that we only needed to have 2 engines. Mr. Hurt had said that, we had 4 in the past, and, we're down to 3, and we could go down to 2. Now, the way that everything is set up, as far as to try to keep everything within 5 miles of a fire station, you need to have a Class A pumper in each station. We indeed had 5 Class A pieces of equipment when I took over. And we downsized because of, maintenance and things like that. We did away with a tanker and an engine and made a 2,500 gallon engine 4. So that took care of, 2 trucks right off of that. My ultimate thing would be to be at 4 engines, because right now we lose 1 truck and we're down half of our water capabilities right off the bat. 2 of our trucks one carries 2,000 gallons, one carries 2,500, the other one was 1,000. The ultimate thing would be when engine 4 gets replaced, if it is still, not a huge maintenance headache, to have that as a second due running piece versus running every day, as far as that goes, and having it as a backup if something goes out of service.
Right,
Something
because as I recall, the last time Molten Borough loaned us a truck,
Correct.
but we can't always count on that,
No.
of course.
And that's the thing about mutual aid.
Yeah.
They loaned us a truck, Not every department can just loan your truck. And we looked at renting one, and it's thousands and thousands of dollars plus weeks to get it here. And then you gotta insure it, and you gotta set it up, and it's just we've done that once. When our engine 3 had the frame break, we rented a truck. It happened to end up being in Portland, Maine. They were renting it. They were done with it. So we went and picked it up from there. We rented it from Brindle Mountain Fire Apparatus, which is in the southern part of the country, and it cost quite a bit of money to do so. But if you have a second due thing, then you don't have to worry about that. However, you don't want to get into the point that it's going to be a maintenance nightmare. that you're going to pay thousands of dollars as far as upkeep. And that's all stuff that needs to be looked at, I think.
Yeah, and I think if you push it towards 4 as opposed to 3, 3 is the optimum number, but if
Right.
you need 4, maybe we gotta look at aging them a little differently.
Right,
Because the use is gonna be
right.
a little less.
And the only issue that I see is that with all the electronics and stuff that are in the truck and all of the emissions and stuff, they're not gonna last 20 years compared to the other trucks, which is the very sad thing
Mhm.
as far as it goes. Plus, it's really tough to, they're talking 2.5 years now versus a year to build a truck. The engines in the truck, there was some places that they're talking like 48-month delivery for the engine itself. Hopefully things change
Yeah.
by the time that we get to really looking at this and have to order it. But it's kind of bleak out there right now
Yeah.
as far as different.
You
So
don't keep
did-
anything up at Winter Circle anymore, do you?
No, the central station took that place.
Did something happen in Ossipee with their multiple fire stations during town meeting?
Not that I've heard.
I had, somewhere along the lines, I heard a rumor or wrote it in the paper or
Yeah.
something that there were, one of those fire districts was,
I know that there was a rumor, but as far as I know, nothing had changed. Talking to the chiefs that are currently there, I know that the Conways, where they have 5 different districts, there was going to be, I think Redstone was going to join with another one of the places, so maybe that was part of
right,
what you had heard. And then they were gonna go from there as far as,
I thought it was West Ossipee, but.
yeah, no,
it was-
no,
Like Jewel Hills in West Ossipee.
Yes.
Isn't it?
yeah, nothing has changed with them. I know that their code enforcement officer and stuff like that, he went from like full-time to part-time, but that's been a couple of years now. So,
So just Unit 1, was that the only warrant article other than the capital?
the car one was a
Yeah.
warrant article, and the generator for the Melvin Village
Right.
Fire Station.
Right.
The question I would have with that is that the 3, even though that it was put out, we need to have this, this, and this, all 3 generators are a different KW, but all 3 will run the station. So the highest, not the highest, the next to the highest bid had a 13 KW. The highest bid had a 12 KW, and the lowest bid had a 10 KW. How do you want to treat that?
Well,
Go with the lowest?
no, not necessarily. I think whatever you think is perceived as the best value to the town. I'm sure the generator connection was
the highest.
Was one of the bidders.
Yeah.
But they're also the service company.
Well, the other thing you have to look at is, you probably have certain things you wanna service with that generator. Is that gonna expand?
Melvin, no, probably not. As far as this, I don't foresee it expanding.
Neither, where you go.
From there, there's not a lot to go.
Added equipment on trucks or whatever you're keeping in there.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not, how much is the spread between the 10,000 and the 13,000? Price wise?
As far as price wise, you're talking like $500 to $800 as
Yeah.
far as it
Oh,
goes.
Lord.
And they're all the same, they couldn't be all the same brand, but are they all the same
Type of
Specs
equipment.
and things.
Yeah, pretty much. I think they're
warranties are the same?
yeah.
Okay.
So obviously Tim Christian was the lowest bidder. Scott was the next, Scott Thompson. And then generator connection was the highest as far as that goes.
Be nice to see them.
Yep.
See the bids.
Well, we have to see them before you
Yeah.
can award it. So, you're gonna bring those in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that. So when is your next meeting?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday?
No.
Monday,
Monday, sorry. Next Monday.
Okay.
Yep.
April
Make sure-
3rd.
Make sure that they're here in your packet so that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can go
we
through
can
that.
award.
And the same with the car?
Yeah, I'd like to take a look at that, we have to take a look at it, actually. And are I suppose it'll be self-explanatory when it gets here, but is the dealer who's selling the vehicle installing the extras?
No.
Or are we going outside?
We're going outside.
Okay. So do we?
And we're waiting, now that everything is situated, we're waiting to hear back from them on final bids.
Okay.
There's two different,
So we've got two
companies
different
like that.
companies on the extra equipment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll let us know the delivery dates available for each one of those three.
and it is red, not black. You asked me that before.
Not lime green,
I did ask you that.
Or yellow,
But I was
or white.
just being snarky. Okay,
Do you have any further questions or anything further?
I don't think so. Anything else for the chief?
oh, good report, thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Chris Rule here?
Not yet. 5:30.
Okay,
You're running ahead today,
Yeah,
yeah.
Imagine that.
which is great.
I had Kathy include in everybody's file, I had the breakdown of the grant money that we've received. and the
Yes,
extra
thank you.
highway,
Yes.
Patriot LLC money, et cetera, et cetera. So we've got $52,758.19 left.
sorry, I just want to give Adam a copy of this. Before he goes.
Okay. Alright. I get to the signature file.
Why not?
First is the MS 232. Report of appropriations voted. Excuse me. At the town meeting.
3 signatures? 1
Three.
signature?
Yeah, 3.
Okay. Motion to sign?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we just approved 3-0 the signing of the MS 232.
Mm-hmm.
Got a mooring lease agreement between the town of Tuftonboro and the town of Wolfboro. So this is a mooring that was installed on 19 Mile Bay at the 19 Mile Beach area. And the purpose was for Wolfboro Parks and Recreation Department adult sailboat sharing program and adult keelboat instruction program. And the term is for this season, it would end on October 1st, 2023. Wolfboro's gonna pay us $1, we'll wait with bated breath to collect that. And we'll get a certificate of insurance for $1 million. And it's the same as what we had last year with the mooring, although I don't know if there was any usage.
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This is the 23rd,
Today's the 27th.
27th.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then we've got a notice of appointment for Jack Widmer to be our treasurer. He's currently our treasurer. It's an elected position, isn't it?
No, we voted to
No.
make, a couple of years back, we voted to make that an appointed, not an elected.
Okay.
Yes. Motion to approve the appointment,
Second.
reappointment.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we've got a permanent application for property tax exemption for, is this a military exemption?
Veterans,
Veteran.
100% disabled.
So we've got 100% disabled veteran.
So moved.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye. Sorry about that, I was been occupied.
Okay. And we have, tax yield levy for $377.20. This is a timber tax, I believe, is it not? Yeah, it's timber tax levy.
Motion to sign.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bob seconded it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Got a notice of intent to excavate from lot, Mountain Shadows, lot 3, or lot 1, 24.
Motion to sign.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And intent to excavate Sergeant's Crossing Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And notice of intent to excavate 258 Mountain Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And a notice of intent to excavate 258 Mountain Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And application for current use assessment. On, yeah, is this the same lot?
It's 21-7 and 21-2.
So we have 21-7 and 21-2. Oh, that's recorded deeds. I'm trying to find the acres, okay. Total acres 1,700. Acres already in current use 1,385. Acres to be enrolled 315.
Coming out of current use.
No, it's going in.
Going in.
Going in. Let's see. Look at the map. Remember. So that's helpful.
Strange man, just.
I saw him.
So
Didn't
this
recognize
is,
Oh,
so they're adding 2 pieces to this major lot here. And it's up in the Ospey Mountains. Up by the point,
oh,
tip of the diamond. I'm
seems like a logical place to go into current use.
I'm not completely convinced that it has no access, because every lot in town has access. at any rate, they're looking to put in current use.
Paperwork's been filled out, tax collector says everything's okay,
Yeah.
then I make a motion that we sign.
Second?
Assessor said it was okay. He's the
All
one
those
who.
in favor?
Aye, everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm giving a $20 fee. And we've got another application for current use off of 23 Tupac Lane. It's a total of 12.5 acres.
Motion to sign.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
That's it. That's good. Now it's 5:30.
I know.
Any hope? Not here yet. Okay. Did you have a chance to look at the posting for the fire departments?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
we're all set with that?
Seems adequate to me.
Okay, and let's just let the chief know that he's gonna have to let us know when he gets his candidates so that we can be part of the program. Did the invitation to bid go out, Kenny, for the crosswalk? I'm sorry.
No,
No,
I get,
that's for
there's
review
issues
here.
with that.
yeah, I get issues with that, the wording in that right there. 'Cause that's a maintenance project. How do you maintain something that isn't even built yet?
Oh, you wanna take the word maintenance out. Seal bids for the 19-mile Bay crosswalk traffic signal maintenance. So you wanna do seal bids for the 19-mile Bay crosswalk traffic signal?
I don't think we can call it maintenance.
Well, no, it's not,
Yeah,
I take issue with the
construction.
word maintenance.
okay,
You can call it construction.
Because there will be some for sure.
Or just call it project, just take out the word maintenance, period.
and it's not just a traffic signal.
No, it's a crosswalk and traffic signal.
So let's add the word and, traffic signal. Project, is that what we want to name it something? It's named a project, so we wanna take maintenance out of the title. And that and up there will be received by the town of Tuftsboro or by mail, Center Tuftsboro by 4 p.m. May 5th. Any bids received after this time will not be accepted. Bids will be publicly open and read aloud on May 8th. The purpose of this agreement is to document understandings, policy, and facility. What's a RRFB? What's that stand for?
RFP?
RRFB. So it's RFP.
I don't know who wrote that?
I think Matt Young did.
Okay, so it's the policy and facilitate, not operation Okay, I'll read it to you, and you tell me what you wanna say. The purpose of this agreement is to document understandings, policy, and facilitate operation and maintenance of the RFP requested by the town to be located on a state-owned and controlled right-of-way.
Still, I think you're putting the cart before the horse with that document.
Okay, what do you wanna say? We need to put something out there.
Yeah. Just to document understandings, policy. I have to build a thing first.
Right.
It's okay if this document is included, but it's gotta be, we need something to build it first.
Right. So do we wanna completely rewrite this?
And maybe somebody who builds it doesn't wanna maintain it, they just wanna build it and move on to the next project, and we maintain it.
Right.
I think we need to find somebody to build it.
I agree. Build it first, then we'll worry about
Build it
maintaining
first,
it.
and then we'll worry about maintaining it.
Alright, but that leaves us with this document. What do we wanna present? We need to put something out in the form of an ask. And this is asking for sealed bids for the 19 Mile Bay crosswalk and traffic signal.
About for the installation of, or the construction of,
I'm okay with installation.
yeah, that's,
I'm happy to take that home and work on it and come back.
there you go.
That's what I was waiting for.
Why didn't you say that earlier?
Alright, we had a letter from Kathy Pounder, which in it alluded towards a relatively, in terms of our ages, a short-term retirement question coming up.
Mhm.
And in that, we need to at least see what's out there in the world. So I had the office put together an employment advertisement, and I'll read it. The Town of Tuftonboro, New Hampshire seeks a creative and proactive professional who is committed to excellence in public service to serve as its town administrator. The town is proud of its active community engagement. The community is governed by a 3-member select board, which acts as the chief executive, is governed by an open town meeting form of government. The ideal candidate would possess strong administrative, human resources, financial, economic development skills. She must have the ability to seek, write, and administer grants from both governmental and foundation sources, and act as a liaison in other governmental agencies and municipalities. The administrator must be a strong collaborator and understand the dynamics of small municipal management. The administrator will implement the directives of the select board and be a leader in communicating policies. This is a part-time position. Final compensation will be commensurate with qualifications and professional experience as determined by the select board. Resumes will be accepted until April 28th. That's not very far away.
No, and we have no money to pay this person. We didn't appropriate anything at town meeting for such a thing. I understand, checking out interest, but might be just a little early.
Right, we do have money though, because we have an administrative assistant money that we have not spent. We have money that we're spending currently on Susan, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
as the grant person, extra money there.
I didn't think it was enough to fill that position, to be honest.
I don't know,
I'm not opposed to the position,
yeah.
No.
as long as it's funded.
Well, we have the clerical assistant
Who's leaving?
who's leaving. We have $1,400 left there, which isn't a lot of money.
Right.
I'm trying to find somewhere else where we've got.
And then where would you put this person?
Well, we don't know yet, we don't know who the person is. I mean, what I was presented with was a, twofold ask. One was, we need some sort of administrative help. Okay, what does that amount to? And secondly was the, not so imminent, but imminent in a certain respect, retirement of one of our people. So how do we address that?
Well,
I'm sorry?
when I read that,
Okay.
I took it to mean that she was proposing that she would take over as the clerical assistant for the budget committee and the conservation commission. But she couldn't continue on as the administrative assistant in full capacity and
Okay.
do all of that, which means, I thought, it was looking more like, to me, that she wanted to us to get an administrative assistant. It's very confusing.
I'd have to read that again. I
Yeah,
don't,
it was
I don't, and I don't have that note with me.
I don't either, it's back home.
Okay,
But, I mean, testing the waters isn't a bad thing by any means. But,
You can accept applications without hiring anybody.
that's right, we can have them on file.
Without committing to hiring.
right, and we don't know what's out there, we don't know what's out there for available
anything.
people. There was some notion that, I don't know what town it was, Holderness or someplace out there in the work, has a part-time administrator. Well, how much does a part-time administrator cost?
Sure.
You know, we don't know that yet. You know, all these people are all concerned about, as was my opponent with HR, which after 6 + 3 years here, I haven't seen a big HR issue come through that wasn't easily handled. I mean, we don't have a big staff.
Right,
No.
Um,
right.
I don't know, that's just something that came up. I'm gonna give you a copy of that.
I've read it.
I've read it as well. It's well enough written, in my opinion, with a minor change there, and
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not opposed to it.
Okay, well, what do you wanna do? Post or no post? Or do you want some more information on how we're gonna pay for it if we do that?
Yeah, I think we need to make sure that we can pay for it before we really
Okay.
stick our feet in.
Alright. I'll take that job on.
If we find out we can pay for it, then let's think about doing it.
Well, it just changes our approach. We may be just looking, putting our toes in the water
Mm-hmm.
if we don't have the money. But if we do have some money, then maybe we can make it something happen. And as Guy said, it may be just way too soon. We may wanna do this in the fall when we have budget season coming up. There's a Primex training at Primex Central down there in Concord for HR, for the non-HR professional. And it's a workshop. There's also a similar workshop at the Littleton Opera House, which would presumably include opera. And another one on October 26th at Primex Training Facility. Anyone want to go?
on October 26th,
Or April 27th or June 20th?
we just, as we said, our HR problems are
Minimal.
basically non-existent or minimal at best, or worst.
I'd have to, I don't know, and I guess we could ask Cammy to ask around if that. I think I'd like to know if this information is available online as opposed to going to this thing. And what of it, any of our in-house people would wanna,
I think
Hers.
Kathy's going.
she is gonna go?
Yep.
Okay, so that handles that.
Yeah. I love it when it's easy.
Okay, correspondence. Got a letter from the Loon Preservation Committee
Chris is not coming, by the way.
thanking the Tufton Fire Department for outstanding help in rescuing a group of loons stranded off Tufton Neck in February.
Cammy, you're gonna get a copy of that letter to,
I made one
Chief?
for him before he
oh,
left.
good.
Yeah.
Good, thank
Yeah, let's get one of those out to Tufnboro Times.
Good idea.
Yeah.
The State of New Hampshire Department of Safety, Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Town of Tufnboro, Union Wolf Road, Hazard Mitigation Assistance Application. The Department of Safety, blah, 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 is pleased to inform you that the town of Tuftonborough's application for culvert replacement was prioritized for submission to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, following a review conducted by the state's interagency hazardous mitigation team on March 17th, 2023. The results of the review, not guaranteed funding, do not begin the project.
It's just that we've moved on to the next
We've moved
stage.
on. We're on to the second.
It's getting closer to being
We're
approved.
in the grade 8. And another one for Sodom Road. And we've got, yeah, we need Chris. Where's Chris?
He's not coming, he's not feeling well.
No, well, I don't feel well. I'm here.
Well, he did sign that, I don't know. It's exactly what he proposed and what we
Yeah, I just wanted
appropriated.
to talk to him about if there was another place to get it, but I guess he signed for it. So what we have here is a total of $25,500 for the replacement of the compactor, which was voted on at the town meeting. And
Does that conform to our purchasing policy? Procurement policy?
well, unless no, it's $36,130. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
We were hoping for more than one bid, so that's why we need Christopher here.
Okay,
So let's hold that out and see if we can get him here next week when he's feeling better. He's also brought in, I think, about black plastic Gaylords, which are containers for plastic.
That's actually our container that was a picture that was in the book.
Oh, nice. So
So.
we're now famous.
Mhm.
That's good.
I wonder what really that was all about.
It
Okay.
said down the bottom, does it look familiar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so, yeah.
Did it?
Kinda.
Where?
And on the second page, he wrote a little blurb that was also in the book. He wrote that.
Oh, nice. So he's now nationwide.
In our RA book.
He's a published
He published-
transfer station superintendent.
There we go. Board of Adjustment is having a hearing on March 29th, tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow,
Mhm.
concerning a variance. Department of Environmental Services. We have a wetlands and non-site specific permit that was issued and it expires on May 14th of 2028. Board of Tax and Land Appeals, this is the tax abatement that we were asked about a while back. And it's following up with,
Says we need to schedule a meeting and try to solve the problem here, doesn't it?
yeah,
So should we have,
so that we need to have our
Invite the-
assessor come in.
yes,
We
invite,
can sit here and talk to him, I mean,
And he did meet with Rod
yes,
last Monday.
yes,
okay. So that's,
and,
so Rod needs to fill out this form
And he did.
on the back.
That's a copy.
oh, so we don't need to do
That's
anything?
not done.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, I was confused.
He's
with that one.
continuing forward with the state.
Okay,
Rod filled out the form and he's
Yeah.
all set.
good.
Rosine Family Trust has filed a New Hampshire dredge and fill wetlands application.
Yeah, I can give you the quick rundown on that. He's replacing the culvert that crosses his driveway, and it's all on his own property.
Right down here.
Yeah, it's just a
Oh,
simple
because it's
culvert.
wet.
It is wet, it's a soggy spot, and
Right.
he being a retired surveyor and very cognizant of all the rules and regulations, crosses all the Ts and dots all the Is.
Okay. Got that all done. Got that all done. Got that all done. So, Selectmen's update,
There we go.
let's start.
I attended the Conservation Commission meeting. They're going to have a grand opening ceremony for the trail down to the observation platform off Sodom Road in July. The dates will be published in the Dufferin Times, and they'd like the selectmen to be there for a photo op at the kiosk at the head of the trail on Sodom Road.
And what day is that?
The exact dates are escaping me. It's in July, and there's a rain date, but it'll come out in the Dufferin Times. We'll have it.
So
That's-
maybe we'll get our conservation to report to us what day it is. That'd be nice.
I can find out easily enough. I didn't go back and look through the minutes. They hadn't been published yet. But, that was my, we've all had our ear bent about concerning roads and how to fix them and how to finance them in the last week or so. I got mine again this morning.
I got mine on Saturday.
I got one Saturday,
Yeah,
so.
I once again thank the gentleman for his observations and suggestions. And that's what I know about that.
Likewise, and I think it's a good idea to explore all avenues when the time comes. I think we should,
I was less politic than you, I guess. Because if you take, first of all, you can't use the fire station as an example because you don't have to completely rebuild it every 10 years.
Right.
You
Right.
do have to completely do roads every 10 years. It just happens, that's the way it works. So taking out a 10-year bond and doing more roads and paying for them over 10 years only means that at the end of 10 years you got a bond again. So you're constantly in this debt cycle. That's the problem I have. And I don't think that we've done as good a job as we can in illustrating how the process has been working over the last few years. And we now, hopefully do we have that map from Lakes Region Planning? He was gonna update. Cammy?
The one that he gave us, we still have, the
He
updated
was
one,
gonna update one.
because you have to get all the
Oh, we get
information from Jim
Right, okay. So-
that I've asked for twice.
Right, so maybe we need to enlighten people about how it's worked so far, the way we're doing it, before we start jumping into big cat.
Well, I have pointed out to a couple that the planning commission did a culvert study and they did a road study and they have recommendations, and it is on our website if you can bring yourself to look for it far and hard enough.
Yeah,
And I told them where to find it, and that we are trying to implement that plan, and that's why we put a little more money in each year, and we separate it out and that. Whether or not they'll actually look at it, I don't know.
yeah, so I mean, sometimes a visual is just so much clearer for people, they just can't
But
bring themselves
when you-
around to
but then-
reading this.
When you talk about this, to what extent are we going to rebuild the road? There's degrees of rebuilding we could do. To go below the frost line so it might actually stay there for any length of time, it's gonna cost a fortune to do that.
Right,
And-
and that's an assumption on your part, which is probably very, very valid. But I think to assuage these arguments out there in the field, we need to know what that number is. So when we're doing top to road neck, you know, what's it cost us to get down 2 feet? What's it cost us to?
My plan was to get a hold of the road agent, highway superintendent, whatever you might want to call it, over in Ossipee, and find out how much money it cost them to rebuild the Chickville Road like they did, because that seems to hold up pretty well.
Right.
Find out what that was and get the numbers for that, which would allow us to project onto our roads. I mean, if you get into blasting and things, it's.
That's the problem I brought up with Skip about holding the Chickville Road up for an example.
Mhm,
Then we're going through sand flats over there.
right,
That's a completely different
it is.
substrate than Ledge Hill Road or Tufton Neck Road. I mean, we got a lot more granite going on over
Absolutely.
here.
And you can't blast one side of the road, rebuild it, and then come down and blast the other side of the road right next to the one you just rebuilt. That's just not gonna go. But a number, the Chickville Road as a number is something to start with at least.
Right.
Gives us a feel.
Do we need to retain a road consultant?
We have one.
Yeah.
And that's what we paid the Lakes Region Planning Commission for. They actually sent people over, took pictures, did the whole thing. So, I mean, we got the report from one individual that is in management over there, but he's not the road expert. He presented what they
Right.
created for us. But there were people with engineering backgrounds or degrees that came through and looked at all the roads and took pictures and recommendations and what we should do.
And we're also presenting this to the voters on a year-by-year basis. Maybe if they saw what it was gonna look like in 5 years, if we had a 5-year plan.
Sure.
That might be helpful.
Yeah. Well, we can, or back it up. I mean, we've had the road study for close to 5 years, I think.
I think it was 17 when they did it.
So this is what we've gotten done in 5 years. This is our plan for the next 5 years. So here's your discussion. This is doing it the way we've been doing it, as opposed to taking out debt to do it.
I'm not in favor of taking out debt.
Yeah. Well, I'm not either, especially for things that are wearing out on a pretty regular basis.
You could call our roads consumables
Yeah,
for all intents and purposes.
yeah.
And that's something that nobody goes into debt for consumables no matter what they're building. It's crazy to do that.
Well, let's hope.
But again, it's, before we get it paid off, we'd have to do it again. It's
Yeah,
just really, it's difficult. It's not an easy situation. These are two-wheel ruts that eventually got paid.
no, but I think the start is, as you say, give them the number on what Chickville costs.
Yep.
Present the maps in some format so that they can actually see what we've done,
Mm-hmm.
what our plan going forward is. And, you know.
Go from there.
Go from there, the discussion continues, but
Mhm.
maybe it slows down a little.
That's all I had for that.
What do you got, anything else?
Yeah, I'm attending Cammy, what am I attending? The Class 6 road,
Hard road to travel?
hard road to travel. I'm attending that
Nice.
class, yes. Yeah,
You're gonna be running for road agent, is that?
no,
Virtually, though.
virtually, yeah, but I'm,
Oh, virtual road agent.
no, virtually attending the class.
Oh,
In my effort to better understand our road systems.
okay.
And there was something else that I was gonna say, but it'll come to me.
All right, I had, and I don't think, I know a guy wasn't in the room when I was talking to our attorney about it, but there was a complaint given to me about cameras on North Line Road. I saw 4, Cammy saw 2, the chief of police saw 8. So these are
Complaints or cameras?
cameras in the road right of way. And that's where the discussion 2 weeks about,
Roads, right of ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
easement right of ways or deeded right of ways.
Mhm.
So if it's a deeded right of way, and I mean, my feeling is a rangeway is a deeded right of way, then we can tell them to not have the cameras out there pointing up and down the road. But, you know, if it is an easement right of way, there's nothing we do about it.
Mhm.
So, dealt with that complaint kind of, but nothing really changed. I did speak with is it the lady that's married to your nephew and niece-in-law? Anyway, I spoke to her. My brother's son's wife, who is an engineer for
I have no idea.
No idea what he was talking about.
the largest solar construction company in New England, actually. and about our,
Right.
start on solar. And it's way too small a project for what they deal with. But one thing
This
that
would
she
be
did
Ace,
say,
would it?
I'm sorry,
Ace Solar?
she told me what it was, but I don't
Okay.
remember.
Anyway, sorry.
It's not, it's actually an engineering company. There's no solar in their name, but she's their solar engineering person.
They got a department.
I don't know what it is. She's a nuclear submarine, but she did say that she'd give me a list of all of the preferred vendors that they use in New Hampshire or Eastern Maine, which may give us a little larger pool to choose from. I talked to Tyler Phillips about Union Wharf, and that's going forward to the governor and council, I believe, next week. And DES is gonna wanna check for $1, so maybe we can give them Wolfborough's $1. Cause we have to, are we paying Wolfboro or are they paying us? They're paying us?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna pay us for the
They're
mooring.
gonna pay us for $1, so we can just move it down the bay a little bit, send that $1 off to DES for the land rights underneath the 19-mile pier for Union Wharf.
Are any of us required to be in attendance at that meeting?
No,
Okay.
no, Tyler's gonna carry that ball for us. I mean, he hasn't told me that we have to, anybody has to be there. And, if you wanna go, a phone call to Tyler is all you need to do. But the AG is on board with it, DES is on board with it, so it should be pretty much a walk in the park.
One would hope.
And what was the other thing I did? God, looking too much stuff this morning. Whatever else I did, I'll report to you next week. Oh, I've got the Tupperware Times, I've gotta get done by the
Right, by the 31st.
31st.
Oh, yeah, I know what it was. I will be writing up an RFP for the fire protection in the vault.
Okay, yeah, good. Do we have any other RFPs that we need to? Oh, well, we should put, I'll work on that. I'm not sure I can get any work on it this week, but I'll put together something in letter form to the people who approached us about the solar and tell them what we're planning for this year.
Where we're at, yeah.
And also create a meeting with the co-op, because, and this is where you come in as well. When the discussion about the police department was going on, there was some talk about the handlers and why didn't go through three-phase. And it triggered in my mind a thought that, okay, if New Hampshire Electric Co-op will not create a revenue stream for us with one major facility, if we build a police station with a three-phase power, we now have 3 locations that can be directly plugged in, and each of those 3 locations can create a credit, because that's how that stuff works, the net metering. So we should get with Phil and find out what the actual difference was in,
Well, I just took a look at the electric bills when I was signing them on Thursday afternoon, and we pay roughly $33 for an electric meter for this building and all the other buildings that have single phase. The fire department pays about twice that, it's $60-something for their 3-phase meter. And they pay a slightly higher electric rate. I think it's another 2 cents a kilowatt. So it's not outrageous,
no, I'm
the
thinking
extra cost.
the cost of construction. He's currently got us with, I don't know, 6 little mini-max or whatever.
More than that,
Or do just get 1 unit and put
Yeah.
3-phase power in there. What's that cost difference? I
Yeah.
guess that's what I would be interested in.
absolutely. That's where I was going with that conversation with.
Right, I
our
remember
son.
that. So, and that might factor into how we do our solar installations
Mhm.
once we get to that point.
Mhm. And behind the proposed police station, there's all sorts of land.
Yeah, it's an old sand pit
Yeah.
back there. Yeah, a lot of brush.
That could all be graded out and sloped out nicely and.
Yes. I'm now reminded also, in looking through the budget, like most years, our winter maintenance budget is at 93%, and many people think winter's over, but they don't realize that that has to go on the other end when that comes. So we may be looking at scratching something around in there too.
Right. Historically, and that's happened in the past,
Yes.
we've scoured around the budget. He's overspent his budget, but what we have to keep an eye on is the overall budget,
Right.
how those things are playing out. So we might pick a line item that has some extra money, but it doesn't really move there.
Sure. I just noticed that we're in the same position we usually are, and he may be out again at any point. Maybe tonight. It's sad to say. It's overcast. It may be freezing rain. It may not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking
Hard to say what's gonna
snow
happen.
at some point, but
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Anyway, there. So now we're down to the nitty gritty. Who's going to be the chairman?
okay. Yeah, I'll as the current chairman, I'll entertain.
Can we do
motion.
one more thing first?
Sure.
Can we vote on the library building fund number 3, the money that needs to go back into the general fund? Sorry.
Is that action?
Yes, please.
We were gonna talk to Dennis first, weren't we, to see if they needed anything?
It has to come to us first, I think.
Oh, Dennis Gilmet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where is it? I'm looking for it.
It's
It's
just on
secretary
your,
updates.
it's just on your,
Oh, it's just there.
yeah,
It's not a thing.
right.
I don't wanna put it in the I don't wanna put it into the undesignated fund balance without talking to him first.
No, it goes back in the general fund.
Goes back in the general fund. At which point he can ask for something if he needs it out of that.
Right.
But it's not their money, it's the town's money.
Right.
Because the project's over with. So I'm gonna make a motion that we put $33,318 from the library building fund into the general fund.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
We just had it.
I'm all set to vote.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
That answered my question.
okay, I'm back to where I was before. Asking for more,
Alright, I'm the lone one here who's not gonna be chairman, and I would,
well, you could be,
I'm not ready.
okay,
No.
make that motion.
I'm not ready. I'll make a motion, but both of you guys I have full confidence in. Either one of you, I'd be happy with as the chairman. You've got tons of experience, you've got a ton of knowledge, but all things being fair, typically we have gone around
Right.
year to year, and it moves on to the next person. So therefore, that being said, I would nominate Guy Pike as chairman.
Okay, I'll second.
I'll accept the nomination.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Now, as far as committee representatives and those little duties, is anybody looking to make a change? You don't want to be wherever or whatever it might be? Seems like we're all doing okay where we're at.
Doing all right.
yep,
right
the
now.
only thing that I'm gonna change is sometime later in the year, I'm gonna have a member on the budget committee,
I remember.
and it can be Guy or it can be you.
I'm gonna go to the meetings anyways, but
It doesn't matter to me.
as far as the formality.
Just to get some depth of bench here.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping to take, when we get to budgets, some extensive notes as we go through, to be able to, so I don't have to rack my brain quite as bad if we need it. Also, I'm gonna suggest to the budget committee that when a budget is proposed or brought to them, that the department head comes with us, because they can answer the day-to-day questions so much better, all the little nuances that go on. And if the budget committee is anything like it was last year, there's gonna be a lot of questions
Did
asked.
anything change in the budget committee? I didn't think there was a change.
Gordon left.
Yeah.
There was one new guy who was elected. I can't remember his name.
Jeff
No,
Jeff
Jeff
Reisner.
Reisner? Well, there's another one
But he was here.
for another
Reisner
term.
was here.
No, Reisner, yeah, he
He
was
came at the
reelected.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
Oh, there's a new body. That's
yes,
right.
there's a new body.
A whole
so-
new person. I don't know.
Yeah, and we don't know how that's gonna go, but that's fine.
But I agree to Guy's point is, you had a lot on your plate to sell to the budget committee what you had been sold by the department heads.
Right.
I think the department head, I agree that I think the department heads should not only sell to us, they should come in and sell to the budget committee.
Or at least be there to help.
Yes.
I
I
mean,
think,
it
yeah,
does say.
and maybe we'll have a tutorial on that.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not, I'm not all together certain that it's in our best interest to have the department head selling a program to the budget committee. I think that's our job, and it's probably safer being our job, because what happens, and it's happened in the past, doesn't happen recently, is, and I won't name names because I'm not gonna name names. At the budget meeting, when that program was kind of in place as you're talking about, there was extra money asked for and given
Mm-hmm.
over and above what
Right.
we had recommended.
Mm-hmm.
And that was premised solely on the department head and the budget committee deciding amongst themselves how they were gonna play. I'm not a fan of that.
Well, then at the very least, they should at least be there to answer questions.
Yeah, no, and I think a tutorial on how to, what we're expecting from them is a good thing to do.
Oh, okay, I get you now, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, we need to speak with authority. But the other thing being is that I think ultimately, maybe not this year, but hopefully maybe this year, that we break the budget up
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and then present it. I mean, cause you can be a lot more facile with a portion of the budget when you know, trying to remember all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely on the warrant articles, I thought we did a pretty good job this year, although I had trouble with the solar all the way along. But ultimately, I think that was a good negotiated settlement,
Mhm.
because I think that's what we really need to do. We need to get some designs in front of us so we can actually talk with authority.
Have a little more form to it.
Yeah, yeah. But I
Well.
think that,
And then,
and then so, although we don't generally go to this extent, it has been done in the past that we've done this. I guess I have to make my own motion. Generally speaking, the previous chairman becomes the vice chairman. So that if
the chairman.
our chairman is gone somewhere, we're not without some form of leadership. So,
So moved.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So now we have to elect a vice chairman.
Yeah, you just did.
Oh, you want to be it?
Well, I mean, that's historically how it went.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I don't, if you wanna have Bob, I don't
No.
care.
You're all set.
But we do need to have somebody
Yeah,
that's,
well, you gotta have, again, you gotta have a bench, as you said. Yeah.
you gotta be able to run the show.
And then there's an item, I feel we need to have a work session and update the personnel policy as soon as possible.
And actually, to further that, we're gonna be looking at hiring a couple of people very, very soon. And some of the decisions that we had made recently are affected by that, so we should probably get on that
Right.
ASAP.
You two can tell me when, because I'm free anytime that is convenient for you two. Now, my concerns that I have, some of which are just basic little housekeeping things, could be done in 20 minutes if there was no argument. However, I predict that there will be some debate on a couple of items.
Our next meeting is April 3rd
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
at 4:30.
yes.
Why don't we come in at 2:30, 2 hours earlier? Can you come in, or do you have to drive to Conway to pick?
I don't know, I'll have to check, but I think I can probably come in.
Can we try to shoot for that then, for the moment?
I just don't know that we're ready, are we ready? I haven't looked at that thing
Well,
in years.
I have.
I'm
I've read
wondering
it all
whether-
through.
Whether or not,
So I will not be here on the 3rd. Jane will be taking minutes for me.
Oh, good.
Well, why don't you come up with an outline of
I have.
what you want to discuss?
I have.
You have.
Yes.
why don't you present your outline on the 3rd?
Okay,
And then we'll, the following Monday, if that's our next meeting.
that's a 9 o'clock meeting, yeah?
Yeah, we'll find a way at it. I mean, there may be things I'll look at, between now and the 3rd, I'll look at.
There's a couple of
as
glaring
well,
areas.
'cause there may be things that I'd like to change in there
Sure.
as well. And the only reason I'm hesitant is, it's an employment manual, it's an agreement, if you will.
Mhm.
We really should poll the employees and say, are there things in the employee manual that you'd like to have changed, or you'd like to have addressed? I mean, if you don't do it that way, then we have to assume that the 3 of us can come up with a perfect product.
We'll never come up with a perfect product.
No, we won't.
Let the inmates run the asylum?
No, it's just, I mean, you don't have to make the changes that they're looking for.
No, I understand.
It's just that there may be some parts of it, and people have brought it up to me, yeah, did you ever look at that? That doesn't make any sense at all. Well, okay.
So should we have 15 copies of the personnel policy run off and distribute it?
They all have to sign it. That never happened. So,
If they're not willing to sign it, or they don't sign it, what's the
well, I
point?
don't think they were asked. So it does say in there that, you know, the expectation is that the employee is signing it.
Well, it also says that it'll say when it was implemented on the front cover, and it doesn't.
Well, because it probably never got implemented. 'cause
Nobody ever
signed
implemented it. We've been running on this policy for years, and
So
nobody
it doesn't exist.
doesn't, well,
So we need to create what can exist.
okay, well, anyway, I'll.
I think that's a good idea, and
Yeah.
I think it's important that we do it as soon as possible.
Mhm.
But I think it's a process to get through it. I guess I'd leave it at this. Can I ask Cammy to send an email out to our staff members? Do you want to comment on any part of the employment manual?
That would make good sense.
I'm interested in hearing what they have to say.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
I mean, we have to actually, because it's their manual as much as ours.
That's good.
And mention that our intention is to revise, update, and implement the manual within the month of April. Is that a good timeline?
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Right.
shouldn't take them that long to answer a question.
Right.
No? They can,
I bet they'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, because the people who are interested,
right,
you know, their brains are locked into a problem and they find, you know, they
That's
want to
good.
talk about it.
excellent.
And then they're involved if
And
our
you,
decision is different from what they wanted, well, I'm sorry, you know, you're only one voice.
so 2:30 work session on the 3rd.
Please.
Why would?
No,
No, we don't.
I'm just gonna present my outline.
Oh, at the
and then
regular
we'll
meeting.
schedule a
It's
work
a regu-
session.
Yeah, no work session yet.
Right.
Okay.
And then we'll try to get the employees'
We'll get a
input.
work session together in April,
We should,
I think,
it's gotta get done.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah, and then that's off the table.
right, fine. So everybody will continue on with what we've been doing. Obviously, you're involved with the solar and the Union Wharf. Bob's involved with the fire suppression systems, and it just seems like it's gonna work. And I'll stand here and go, well, the next thing we're gonna do is this.
And
And if a chairman is
Let's
needed
get
for
it.
some reason.
so do you wanna handle Phil on the police station? There has to be some communications there to make sure that he's sending an RFQ out, how's that going?
That was in the Concord Monitor today.
Was it?
Mhm.
Did it go to all of those people that were listed?
Mhm.
Like Randy up at Bonapage and Stone
Yep.
and all those? Okay, so we've had the RFQ go out. When's it coming back? When are we
Mhm.
gonna review it? And then setting up those meetings with Phil.
I can do that,
Or, yeah,
just a matter of phone calls, basically.
yeah, and Cammy does most of that.
Yeah. So Kim,
But we need to have
keep tabs on me.
have that project going forward.
Yeah, we do. And hopefully we'll get better responses to things than we did the last time.
Yeah, I think we will.
Right.
Confident.
I'm not, is Randy still at BPS?
As far as I know,
Okay.
yeah.
Because he's getting up there. He's a little younger than me,
Not that old.
okay. if you say
Really?
so.
I mean, it seemed like he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
Maybe he's in good shape.
I don't know if Randy is. I know Jim Kimball's gone.
Oh, is he?
He's retired.
Yeah.
Long retired.
Played softball with Randy and his brother on the Tamworth team. So I know them.
Yeah, they just did an exemplary job at nursing homes, so I'd
Yeah.
love to hear from them.
Well, I know they like big jobs, but you know what? They might have a relatively new guy that this would be a great job for him to do, or
They do
they
little
may
jobs,
just
too.
have enough staff to take care of it anyway.
Yeah. They do
And
little
they're a
jobs.
proven performer,
Well, it's
all right?
over $1 million.
I'd make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second.
Yeah, okay.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's your
Pass the torch.